channel. If you are new here, hello, my name is Erica. It is so good to have you. If you are not new, welcome back. Today is a very exciting video, minus the fact that I'm still recovering from my weird 24-hour flu that I have, so just ignore the fact that I sound disgusting. But today's video is going to be a full day of eating in my new intuitive bulking phase. I'm so excited to bring you guys along. I'm also going to bring you guys through a full day in the life, show you what my workout looks like, and give you all the details. But without further ado, let's go to the gym. Alright, let's get into my upper body workout from today. This is my first day of upper body workouts for my new bulking program, and it felt really, really good. I started off with some dynamic warm-ups, then I did my warm-up sets for bench press, and then I moved into my active working sets. I did 3 working sets of 10 reps here, so felt really good. And remember that last rep should be a grinder. We want to push ourselves in order to grow. Then I moved into some assisted pull-ups. I've been loving these lately. And then my third exercise was a seated dumbbell shoulder press. Again, 3 sets of 10. And that last rep, we really want to push ourselves to almost failure. Then I moved into a T-bar chest supported row. This is a new one for me. I really love it as well. 3 sets of 10. Then I did some lateral raises on this machine and finished with bis and tris. Alright, we're back from the gym. If you guys have been here before, you already know the drill. I always make a protein shake after the gym. So that's what we're going to do right now, and then I will get into all the updates on my intuitive bulk. We're gonna go mix up some lunch, but I quickly wanted to say one of the ways that I'm tackling this bulk intuitively is by eating pretty similar meals every single day, and this is something that I've done forever, so it's not something new to me. It's not something that feels weird or that I don't enjoy. I enjoy my staple meals every single day, and I bulk prep a lot of ingredients so that when I go and make my meals, I can just make them really quickly and I don't have to cook a bunch of stuff every single time I need a meal. And by doing that, it allows me to adjust the portion sizes or the amount of each ingredient that I add to every single meal. So the difference between ingredient prepping and meal prepping is that when you meal prep, you make that meal and it's stuck at that size. You can't adjust it. Whereas when you ingredient prep, you have the ability and the flexibility to adjust, oh, I need more rice in this meal, or I need more meat in this meal. So that is what I did yesterday. I bulk prepped some rice, some beef, some green beans, and a few other things, but that's what I'm gonna have for lunch today. And the way that I go about kind of approaching this building season is I know how much rice I would typically put in my bowl, and I'm just going to add more than I normally would. So I increase the portion sizes, and it's for me primarily carbs that I'm increasing and a little bit of fats. My protein stays about the same regardless of whether I'm cutting or bulking. It's usually around like 160 to 170 grams per day if I had to eyeball it. But my carbohydrates primarily are going to be what is increasing in this building season. And that's because I want more energy for my workouts. I want to be able to progressively overload more, and I just need more calories. And I don't want to add a ton more protein because it's really hard to digest after a certain point. And it's not like there's a magic number that I have to reach in order for me to put on a ton of muscle. Once you hit that like 1.1 grams per pound of body weight, you're pretty much capped in terms of like the benefits of eating protein. So if you go over that, it's not really going to do anything extra. It actually sometimes can cause negative side effects with your digestion. So just watch out for that. But I just wanted to give that little spiel on bulk prepping, ingredient prepping versus meal prepping, and how I adjust my meals now versus in my maintenance. So I just made a ton of rice, as you can see. I'm just gonna put some of it in there. And then we've got some ground beef that I made. And then we'll top it with some green beans, and I will just heat this up, and then I'll add the avocado after. Okay, apparently I only have like a tiny bit of avocado left, so we're gonna work with what we've got. It does what it needs to do. I just love adding avocado to these bowls because it gives it like some creaminess, but I honestly probably could use a bit of sauce today, but that's what we're gonna work with for lunch. Okay, it is quite a bit later. It's like 3:20-ish right now. I need to get outside and get some steps in because I've been sitting at my desk for hours doing check-ins and things of that nature. So I'm gonna go outside, get some steps in, and then when we come back, we will reconvene and I will make a snack and then we'll chat about all things bulking. All right, snack time means cottage cheese. If you know, you know, it's my favorite snack, but I'm gonna show you how to make it taste good. Some fruit, almond milk, I will explain in a second, some natural peanut butter, and some cereal. Okay, so we're gonna start off with some cottage cheese. And again, I can just add more than I normally would in my off season to make sure I'm getting in more calories. One thing about me is I don't like super thick cottage cheese, so I'm just adding a tiny bit of almond milk to make it a little bit less clumpy. And then one thing I forgot to get out is just protein. I literally add like a tiny little dash, like maybe 5 grams of this, just to give it some flavor. So mix that up. That is the consistency, not too thick. Gonna add some of these raspberries. I'm gonna go in with this natural peanut butter. I usually would add like around 10 grams. I would eyeball that, but I'm gonna add closer to like 15, 20 grams now that I'm in my building phase. And again, my meals aren't exactly the same every day, but I follow a pretty similar structure, which makes it easy for me to guesstimate and eyeball things and add portion sizes where I need to. And then lastly, I'm just gonna top it with Rice Krispies, more than I normally would, for extra carbs. So that is the finished product. It doesn't look that appetizing from this clip, but I promise you it's super good. Okay, now that we're all settled and I've had some meals to satiate me, let's talk about how I'm tackling my intuitive build or bulking season this year. First things first, I think it's really important to note, if you haven't been following me for a while, I have tracked macros for years prior to this now intuitive phase that I'm in. I've been intuitive for probably 5, if not more months now. And prior to that, I was tracking religiously for like 2+ years, had a little bit of a break, and prior to that, like another 2-3 years. So I've tracked macros for like in totality over 5 years. I feel very comfortable understanding how my body operates with different macronutrient splits. I understand how to create a balanced meal, a balanced day. I understand the energy needs that my body has, and all of the above. So that helps me a ton when it comes to tackling this phase intuitively. I will say it is a little bit harder to tackle a bulk or a building phase in a disciplined or structured way if you don't have a history of tracking macros or following any sort of like calorie tracking, I would say. I personally prefer macro tracking, but that's a discussion for another day. So like I said, I have a very in-depth history of tracking, which helps me to make mindful, informed choices with my food. And I, to this day, still kind of have an understanding or a guesstimate of where my calories, my proteins, my carbs, my fats are for the day, even though I'm not tracking things in like MyFitnessPal, for example. So I still know tentatively where my calories are at day to day for this building phase, and I'm still trying to aim within a range, and same thing with protein specifically. I'm trying to hit a specific number, but I'm not going into MyFitnessPal and logging everything day to day. As I said before, one of the ways that I can kind of be sure that I'm eating in a surplus is by just eating similar meals day to day, which I already do, so it's not like I'm changing anything, and I'm just adjusting the portion sizes. So for me, typically for like lunch or dinner, one of the meals I'll have like rice, beef or chicken, and vegetables. So super easy for me to just increase the serving size of rice. And then for breakfast, I always pretty much have protein oatmeal, so I'm just adding in extra oats or extra fruit or extra nut butter. You get the gist of it. I'm just adding portion sizes of things to ensure that I'm eating more than I was previously. Now you can do this really structured, and you can say like, okay, for the first 2 months of my building phase, I'm just gonna adjust my breakfast and, you know, bulk up my oats by an extra half a cup or whatever. That's fine. You can do it super structured like that. Again, it's totally up to you. This is not like a how-to guide. It's just a how I'm doing it, but I'm just kind of taking it a little bit more flexibly. If I feel like, okay, today I want more oatmeal in the morning, I'm gonna do that. If I feel like I'm gonna wait until, you know, when I'm actually really hungry in the day and have more rice at that meal, that's fine. Or some days I just bulk up each meal in small portions, and overall it's gonna put me in a surplus for the day. So I don't have like a set way I'm doing it every single day, but I do follow a similar structure day to day to ensure that I'm putting myself in a surplus for this building phase. In terms of measuring my progress, that was a question that I had when I talked about this on my Instagram. I will be measuring my progress in a multitude of different ways, but I think before we talk about progress, it's important to talk about training and how I'm structuring my training, because that is part of how I will be measuring my progress. So in the gym, I'm actually going into a hypertrophy block. Hypertrophy just means growing muscle tissue, growing size of the tissue. So I'm focusing on a growth phase right now, so it makes sense to go into a hypertrophy block, which is what my coaches have programmed for me. So I will be in a hypertrophy phase for the next foreseeable future. I'm really, really excited about it. I'm still trying to build some strength in that block, which it should happen over time with progressive overload and more food, but the main focus is to build size. So I will be going into my building phase. I actually started on Monday of this week before I got sick, and then today I had my second workout, which went really, really well. But I will be following a structured program. I will be monitoring my progression in terms of how many reps, how many sets, how much weight I'm using in the gym, to ensure like, hey, am I actually building strength? Am I building volume over time? And if I'm struggling with that, it's probably a sign that I might need a little bit more food. On top of that, it's important to note that, as you guys know, I do enjoy running, and I really do want to keep some of my runs into my programming during this kind of building season or off season from running, I guess, if you want to put it that way. So I'm keeping 2 runs a week in my schedule right now, and they are both lower volume than previously. So I will probably be doing like a 30-minute run and a 45 to an hour long run, once a week respectively. So that's what my schedule will look like. The purpose of that is to just maintain my endurance so I don't lose all my endurance in my off season from running and in my on season from training, if that makes sense. So that's what I'll be doing, and it's also important that I, eat a little bit extra on those days that I'm running, because running is a form of cardio and it's expending extra calories, and that is not my goal right now. I'm not in a deficit where I'm trying to expend more. I'm actually trying to consume more calories than I'm expending. So on top of measuring my progress in the gym based off of, am I building strength? Am I increasing my reps and sets every week, etc.? I'll also be monitoring my progress by taking progress photos, by monitoring my body weight, measurements, and then also just biofeedback markers. Like, how do I feel? Do I notice that I'm, getting stronger? Do I feel like I'm putting on size? My coaches are also there to provide an objective perspective. So we'll all be working together to ensure that I'm, on the right track. And if we need to modify things, or if we need to start tracking macros for whatever reason, I'm open to it. But those are the measures of progress that I will be using for this building phase. So that's an overview of what I'm going to be doing for the next couple months. I'm super excited to bring you guys along. If you have more in-depth questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm super excited to get into the nitty-gritty of this with you guys. I know it's a little bit different than my last bulk that I took you guys through, which I was tracking for. So we're going from tracking to intuitive, and I'm also running a little bit now in this bulk, so it will look a little bit different. But nonetheless, I'm really, really excited, and I can't wait to bring you guys along. So that's the overview. Now on to the rest of the meals for the day. Okay, it is now dinner time, and my boyfriend's running to the store to grab some barbecue stuff. I'm gonna cut up some potatoes and some carrots and air fry them so we have them ready for dinner. Normally we would have some sort of carb source, so it's either like potatoes, rice, or some sort of burger with a bun. So that's kind of how I adjust my carbohydrates for the day. And then I'll always have a protein source and veggies, and then like a sauce or something with fats in it if it's not like a fattier meat. So gonna cut these up, air fry them, and then we will have dinner. Also, I don't know if you guys can hear me over the air fryer, but I feel like people make food and like hitting nutrition goals so complicated. You see so many recipes, like meal prep recipes, that are like 30 ingredients long, and like no one has actual time to do that. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. So you'll notice my meals are pretty easy. It's like a carb source, a protein source, a veggie, or like a fruit, and a fat source. Like, it doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to spend 40 minutes every day making each meal. Like, that's why I love bulk prepping, just having like things that you can quickly mix and match to put together to make a simple meal that still tastes good. It just doesn't take hours of your time, and it's not meticulous to like put into MyFitnessPal if you are tracking. So don't overcomplicate it. You're totally fine to eat rice, chicken, and vegetables like once a day. I don't think that anyone's gonna die from doing that, and if anything, it makes your life way easier. And you can season it and make it taste good, make it Mexican, add some salsa and some avocado, make it Greek. Like, you can make it customized. It doesn't have to be the same every day. Carrots and the potatoes are done. I'm literally having the most random dinner ever, but I feel like I need some greens, so I'm gonna put that there. And then I'm gonna top that with some more ground beef because I'm too impatient to wait for the chicken to be cooked. I'm just gonna heat this up and then throw it on and add some sugar-free ketchup. This looks like the most random assortment ever, but
these fries are fire.
The fries are fire?
Yeah.
I know. I make a good fry. What can I say? That'll be dinner tonight. So while I was having dinner, my boyfriend made us some protein for tomorrow. Also, sorry if you can hear the drying machine in the background. Anyways, I'll have this for tomorrow. It's chicken, and then that's just some beef for him. But like I said, we bulk prep ingredients so that we don't have to worry about cooking it in the moment on the day. Okay, now I'm just having a little bit of steamed vanilla milk. And this also will just help get a little bit more calories in, but honestly, I just like having something warm and sweet after dinner and before my dessert. Alrighty, for my nightcap, we are going to mix up a Ninja Creamy. This flavor is Cake Pop from PEScience. So we're just going to blend this, and then I'm gonna add some mini golden Oreos. Okay, so that was the second spin, and now I'm just gonna go in and add some golden mini Oreos in there, and we'll go like that. And then I will put it in and press mix in. Alright, that is the finished product. It looks amazing. I just am adding in more toppings now. I sometimes will add like a Hershey's chocolate sauce too. It's basically just like all carbs to add in more calories. So that is the nightcap, and that is the end of the video.